This tutorial will review the course requirements for ADM 626, Practicum in Education Leadership. Throughout this presentation, please refer to the Administrative Field Experience Handbook that you can find on course sites. In order for you to obtain licensure for education administration, the state of Virginia requires a minimum of 320 clock hours of a supervised internship that provides exposure to multiple sites with diverse student populations. Multiple sites include elementary, middle school, and high schools, central offices, and agencies. Agencies are not under the direction of a school system. For example, Boys and Girls Club, tutoring programs, etc. In order to achieve full academic credit through Shenandoah University, there is a minimum requirement of 340 clock hours in a public school or accredited non-public school. This is a breakdown of practicum credits. In the first year of the practicum, you will perform multiple practicum activities to earn your first 3 credits. During the second year, you will perform multiple practicum activities to earn your final 3 credits. However, you have 2 options. You can either learn your first credit in the fall, your second credit in the spring, and your third credit in the summer, or you can earn your first credit in the fall and the final 2 credits in the spring. This totals an amount of 6 credits that must be achieved by the end of year 2. All of your credit hours are related to the specific courses you will be taking. Throughout the practicum in education leadership, you will be completing a multitude of activities in accordance to various required appendices. We will cover each in detail. Participants are expected to work with their host administrator and university supervisor to plan activities that will give them experience related to the ISLLC standards. 120 clock hours will be assigned through core content courses and assignments. 220 clock hours will then be independently achieved in addition to the 120 clock hours assigned through core content courses. These 220 clock hours must relate to specific courses in which you are participating in. All clock hours will be reported through a series of submitted journal entries. For more information about journal entries, please see the journal entry tutorial. Here lists a summary of our requirements in different school systems. 30 hours in an elementary school, 30 hours in a middle school, 30 hours in a high school, 30 hours in a central office, and 10 in an agency. These required hours total to 65. The other 105 hours are of your choice. There is a total of 170 clock hours per year. 340 clock hours will be totaled after year 2 and must be required to receive academic credit. Appendix A and B can be found in Administrative Field Experiences Handbook on pages 15 and 16. These forms must be completed and turned in within the first 2 weeks of the course. These forms require a declaration of host administrator or mentor. You must get a signature from your host and university supervisor. Appendix D can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on page 18. This activities planning sheet lists required activities to be documented through journal submissions each year. Your activities are not expected to occur necessarily in the order that they are listed. Appendix E can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on page 19. This project planning sheet will provide a brief description for each project you will undertake in the 2 years of the practicum program. This sheet must be filled out, signed by your host, printed and scanned, and then turned in through course sites. Appendix F can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on page 20. You are required to meet a minimum of 3 times with your host administrator to review progress and administrative issues, as well as discuss concerns and questions. This discussion agenda must be completed 3 times per year. Copies of your discussion agenda will be provided to your host administrator and university supervisor. The discussion agenda must be filled out, printed and scanned, and then turned in through CourseSites. Appendix G can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on page 21. On here, you will be reporting your hours in 15-minute intervals, and they will be submitted once per month. You will log the date, number of hours, site location, and a brief description of your experience. This log must be filled out, signed by your host administrator, printed and scanned, and then turned in through CourseSites. Procedures and directions for this Practicum program can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on page 24. This explains in detail when appendices and activities are due. The portfolio requirements can be found in the Administrative Field Experience Handbook on pages 25 and 26. Each student in the Educational Administration Master's and Certificate program is required to construct a portfolio to represent their work completed throughout the 2-year program. This portfolio will be kept electronically and will be concluded in the final course taken. Required portfolio artifacts are listed. A self-evaluation and host evaluation of your Practicum experience are due each year. This evaluation is completed electronically using Google Forms. The link for this evaluation will be emailed to you near the end of the term.